We are in the middle of a home renovation and a bedroom makeover. Previously, we got our crown molding up and our window trim finished. We're going to be starting the floor stage now, getting really excited to put down our new flooring. But before we do that, we want to prep the old floor first. We have an old plywood and OSB floor. It's a mix of materials, and it's got a lot of stains and filth and mess on it. And it's just raw wood. So what we want to do is paint the floor before putting our flooring down. This way it'll seal up any nastiness, any old smells, anything that's in the wood. It'll also protect the wood in the future. We happen to have a gallon of paint that we're not going to use, so we said why not put it on the floor. I'm in the workshop today getting ready to install some more trim in the bedroom. Today I'm working on baseboard and base caps. So our baseboards are going to be simple 1x4 boards. Now to fancy them up, we're making base caps. Now a base cap, as the name implies, is a piece of trim that you cap your base with, and it adds a decorative touch to your baseboard. Now this was the original base cap that I was going to use. So you know, you can kind of see the profile there. Half round, cove, pretty simple baseboard. I'm not happy with that. because I was using a router bit that wasn't giving me a very good finish, and I wasn't convinced that I was going to stick with this style. So I picked up a new set of molding knives for my router table setup. I'm going to be experimenting with those, seeing how I like the trim and how the finish comes out, and we're just going to go from there. So the knives that I got are a little bit more traditional base caps. So I'm liking this new base. This is how it came out. Right there. I actually think this is a better profile. It's taller than the other one, which I like. You can see this one, the original one's about 1.25 inches. This one's 1.5 inches. We got some extra height. And also this cove right here is a bit of a dust catch. It's not a huge deal, but it is a dust catch. Whereas this more traditional base cap is sloped, and it's less of a dust catch. I like it. It's taller, it's nicer, and those blades, they give me a nicer finish than the traditional carbide tipped router bits. So I think I'm going to stick with that. We're going to process a bunch of these, we're going to get some baseboard done, and I think it's going to look really good. And like I said, this is actually a traditional base cap. This really isn't a traditional base cap. This would have been used for other things, like in this position, probably. So anyway, if I could buy these at the store, I would. I wouldn't even waste my time processing base cap, but I couldn't find them. They actually had some that were very similar to this, but they were pre-painted white and we want stained. So I was really disappointed in that. But we can make them, so it's not a big deal. Now some people do ask me about my molding knives. This is my tongue and groove blade, actually the tongue. And this was a custom blade that I had made to match the old tongue and groove boards in our house. I buy my blades at moldingknives.com, and I just wanted to point that out because they have really quick turnaround. They can make any shape knife that'll fit a custom router bit attachment for your router tables. So you can use a molding knife style blade on your router table, and I think that's really cool. And they can pretty much make any design you want within this 1.5 inch space, and I think that's pretty neat. So I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. The blades will cost about $100 a pair, and you have to buy the bit holder that the blades attach to work them in your router table. But once you own the holders, any blades you buy are $100, and that's not really bad for a high quality router bit. We're going to be making some corner blocking for our trim. I'm going to show you how I do that. Now we're going to cut it. Alright, I'm back, and there it is. That's all there is to it. My trim, my baseboard trim, will come up to either side of this, and then my corner trim will come down to here. Now that the floor is dry, and it looks nice and clean in here, we're going to do something that we probably shouldn't do, and that's start staining more wood. But don't worry, we have paper on the floor. So let me tell you guys, we've been working hard on this trim and we've gotten it all done. Now I just want to mention that this batch of wood gave me a hard time. We've been using this Ecos Paints clear varnish to seal all the wood in our house so far. And it's been okay. It can be tricky to work with because it dries really fast as you're applying it and you get brush strokes very easily. But I've managed to get a really good finish on pretty much everything. For some reason this batch of wood gave me so much trouble and I was getting too stressed out to deal with it. This bucket is full of chunks. I keep having white chunks in my finish and it was drying fast and I didn't like it. And so I said, you know what, I'm going back to what I know. I pulled out a can of shellac and I started shellacking. So all of this wood has shellac on it and all of the previous wood has the clear varnish on it. Now honestly, you probably won't see much of a difference in the finished product. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all turns out once it's dry. Now I'm only telling you that in case you do see a difference in sheen or the finish, and that's why. Now the wood looks beautiful. Right now it's half dry, so it's a little uneven looking with the glare on it, but I'm still happy with how it's looking, and when the glare isn't directly on it, it looks perfect. So I think for baseboard trim, door trim, it's going to be fine in a normal situation. So I think for the baseboard and door trim, it's going to be totally fine looking. Anyway, I just can't believe we've made it this far, that we're finishing all the last of the trim for our bedroom, and we're just right down to those last little bits where we can put the floor in. I'm glad we're doing this now while the floor isn't in, so that we're not making a mess and we can still finish in here. We're going to let the trim keep drying, and we'll get to that later. I think I'm going to wrap it up now though. That's the progress for now. We'll have another video coming soon. So, until next time, take care.